Good morning. Welcome to our December the 18th edition of our export sales report review that just came out. Let's start today by talking about the cotton. Let's go straight now to that number. The cotton number was 89,500 running bales. That's down 55% from the previous week and down 58% from the 4-week average. Increases were reported for China taking 54,700, Vietnam taking 11,300, and actually unusual, India is taking 8,100 bales. The response from the cotton since this came out, cotton's actually sold off. Cotton was up about 18 when the number came out. Now it's down about 18. So we're selling off with the report. Let's look now at wheat. The wheat number, net sales of 476,300 metric tons. That's up 8% from the previous week and up 23% from the 4-week average. Japan took 112,300 metric tons. Mexico took 84,500 metric tons, and Nigeria took 62,000 metric tons. The wheat market was up 14 at the time this report came out. Now the wheat market is up about 15 to 15 and a half. So it's moved up a small amount. Going to corn, net sales of 693,500 metric tons. That's down 28% from the previous week and down 30% from the 4-week average. Looking at the breakdown, Mexico, unknown destinations took 268,700. Mexico took 159,900. Japan took 114,300. Corn market, as the report came out, was up 4.5. Right now, corn's up about 5. So the market's up about a half cent since the report. Going to soybeans. The soybean number, let me refer to the screen here, 810,300. That's down 31% from the previous week and down 20% from the 4-week average. The breakdown shows Spain took 257,000, China took 217,000, and Japan took 74,700. And looking at the report, soybeans were up 7 when this report came out. As it came out, right now the soybean market is up 7. So it has not changed any. Looking at this at the report, I'd say the cotton number is a little bit light. Other numbers seem to be in line with what the market had thought. Talking about what has happened, looking at over the last week, the soybean market has dropped 24 cents over the last week since we last talked. But when you look at corn and you look at wheat, it's a different story. The corn market has rallied 15 cents over the last week, and the wheat market, and boy, this has been a powerful week for wheat. The wheat market has rallied 90 cents. I think some of the rumors about Russia cutting out their exports of wheat, I think that's done something to contribute to it, in addition to some weather concerns. And the corn, I think to a certain extent, moved along with the wheat. As I mentioned, the soybean market was down 24 cents, so it's not been able to share in that. Looking at this longer term and just making a comment about that, if you've been listening to us over the last couple of months, you know that we talked about seasonals and corn and soybeans coming in and making a low when they normally make a low around the first part of October. It's exactly what happened this year, and since then we've started trending up. Now, as you look forward out into the future, and we ask the question, well, what happens now with regard to seasonals? The seasonal trend for corn, for soybeans, and we'll throw cotton in there, is to trend higher through the winter into the spring to early summer. The high of the year is usually made then. The low of the year is usually made sometime within harvest. And so we're following a more traditional seasonal pattern this year. So what to expect? Well, I looked at charts, made some notes, and looking out into the spring and early summer and what to expect. Some analysts are talking about November 2015 soybeans right now are trading at 10.19, looking at the possibility of that market possibly getting to $11. December 2015 corn right now is trading at 4.36, looking for the possibility of that in the springtime, maybe reaching as high as $5. And then let's throw wheat in there. Harvest month for wheat's July and August and through that time period. And looking for the possibility of July wheat, which is right now trading at 657, possibly moving up into the area of 750 to 760. And wheat makes its high also in the month of May. So we want to be aware of that. What about cotton? The cotton market right now, December 2015, is trading at 64.40. There are many people that feel like through the Mid-South, the Delta, and the Southeast, it's going to be very hard to attract cotton acres if this spring we're trading there. In interviewing cotton analysts about this and asking the question, how high do we have to go to attract acres? I think the answer to that is, well, how high will soybeans be and how high will corn be at that time? But most analysts feel like low 70s is what's going to be necessary to get cotton up to be able to assure some acres. Knowing the role that the large speculators, the big funds play now in all commodity markets, these markets have a tendency to move farther than you might think. I think it's possible even to get into the mid-70s in December cotton. So what does this mean? Quickly, let's just say farmers need to be diligent in the spring, early summer. That's when highs are usually made, and that's the time you really need to be considered using the forward market or the futures market or the options market to start booking some of your crop, because that's when we're normally going to be making the highs. The users of these crops want to assure they have adequate crop, they have adequate supplies, and one way to do that is to make sure prices are high enough to entice farmers to plant those crops. And that's why they get prices higher during that time period. After the crop is planted, they don't seem to care as much about what prices do, and typically we start to sell back off again. You need to take advantage of it. It's very important to be able to think about marketing during that time of the year. So that's really it for today. That's our export report and a little comment about prices looking forward. We hope you'll join us next week for our export sales review. My name is Pat McClatchy. Thanks for joining us.